Welcome, listeners, to the Happy Haunt podcast. I am your host, Angel. I am talking with my co-host. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
What's up, guys? My name is Elias, and we are from the Happy Haunts podcast, like Angel just said earlier. We're going to be kind of doing a horror podcast, but it's not going to be a horror podcast in the sense that we're just going to discuss movies. We're going to be talking about all horror media and just a little bit about us. Angel can help me out with this.
I gotcha. It started way back when we were in a terrible time called high school, and we ended up becoming best friends in high school. We were on the water polo team together. What we ended up bonding over was horror movies. We loved horror movies. Whether we went out with the team to go and see the latest horror movie that was playing in the theater, or even during October time when we had the local horror events going on, we always went as a group. Unfortunately, some of the friends kind of faded away, but me and Elias always kept that friendship strong, and one of the things that always tied us back together was the horror genre itself.
Yeah, man. So, like he said, we met through water polo. We had a huge friend group who also enjoyed watching these movies, playing these games, doing what we love to do, watching TV shows, going to like fucking horror nights or whatever from Universal Studios or Knott's Berry Farm.
Yes.
That shit was like a thing for us, right?
It was
yeah, and both of us being Mexican, a very direct term for us. We're both Mexican. It just kind of affected a lot, right? Because when we were growing up, we heard a lot of horror stories that influenced us in different ways, right? Yeah, it was meant to instill fear in us looking back on it when we were older.
Definitely,
right?
Man.
But as we kind of grew older, we took these things to heart. And as you take those things to heart and watch other things that are supposed to scare you, you kind of like find something beautiful to share this with people, right? And that's kind of like what happened with us from what I remember.
I love that you use that word, beautiful. Like, horror is it's beautiful genre. It brought back those feelings, and even though these stories, these movies, these events scared the living crap out of us, we cherished those messages and the imagery that came from these things. And we're here to talk to you guys about what we felt, what we experienced, and just share the appreciation for the genre itself.
Yeah, so I do want to kind of emphasize that we're just kind of fans of the genre. We're not like nerds to the extent where we're gonna be angry that I can't believe they did this to Jason Voorhees, you know. But maybe you'll find me from time to time being angry about stupid shit. You know, it's just what happens when you enjoy something. You're gonna be mad when they don't do it justice, right? But it's never gonna be anything that's like a little too serious. We like to keep things a little lighthearted and fun, especially since we know that horror is a very delicate subject. It's very intense, as you would say, especially with modern horror movies, bro, because like the modern horror genre is like the most intense shit I've ever experienced.
It's crazy to see where it's evolved and where it's going. That being said, like, you can't help but love the cheesy effects, the crappy little subgenres. It's gotta be appreciated, it's gotta be loved. We're able to laugh at them and appreciate them. It connects a lot of different cultural references. It also breaks down politics. It's a very powerful genre.
Angel and I will go like months without talking to each other, and then we'll, like, some movie will come out or some video game, this and that TV show, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll come back and talk to each other months after. We're both 25, by the way. We both like long grown past the high school years.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're revisiting that time through horror, so we thought it would be a cool idea to create a podcast where we're kind of like, I don't like saying the word forced, but we're pretty much forced like to communicate with each other, you know, weekly. And that's kind of like cool in a way, you know, like that. It's something that kind of leads us back to talking to each other, right?
Definitely. we wanted to open this up to other members of the horror community. We would like to share our friendship. This was something that's basically all tied in by horror. For all those who are sitting at home, especially nowadays, you're quarantined, you've got nowhere to go, streaming through Netflix, watching every single horror movie, but you have nobody to talk about the movies or the content that you're playing. Just, we're here for you guys. This is a safe environment. We're not here to bash anything of the genre. We're here to celebrate it. Some of the content that we will be covering is definitely movies, video games for sure, horror events, especially the ones that we've gone to, and we'll be dropping in some convention info and stuff like that as well. So it's a very wide range of what we're trying to hit with this channel. Can't wait for you guys to join us and see our friendship grow along the way and grow together as a horror community.
We're going to also kind of extend this and kind of talk about the format of what a lot of our podcasts are going to take, right? For example, with the movies and video games, there's a clear beginning and end, right? So we're going to be kind of tackling a timeline with these video games and movies and TV shows. You know, who knows what we go and get into in the future, right?
Definitely.
So that does mean spoilers for those of you that have not seen those movies, or if you don't give a fuck about spoilers, that's fine with us. You know, you can listen as well.
We don't kink shame, that's for sure.
Yeah, bro, for sure. So we're going to be going down each individual kind of event that happens within a movie. We're going to discuss it, what we notice within a movie, what we find stupid in a movie. Because trust me, a lot of things that happen in horror movies, like
plenty of things.
What? But it's all fun, right? We're never talking about these movies in a negative light because we hate those movies. It's because it's our favorite genre, right?
Yeah.
Horror has a very interesting allure to it because you could either, one, get the greatest movies you've ever seen in your life come from the horror genre, or two, get some really bad stuff that you regret you watched. You know, it's never in the middle, you know, but it is what it is, right?
It's pure fun. Pure fun.
Yeah, it's the fun part of it. You never know what you're going to kind of get. Not to fucking quote Forrest Gump, which I don't really like as a movie. We can fight about this later.
Nah, we will. Off air.
But yeah, you know, it's going to be a kind of fun journey. We're going to go through the timelines. As I said before, I got sidetracked. I promise we won't get as sidetracked later on. We'll be better at it as we practice.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to like the attractions like Horror Nights or Not Scary Farm that we both attended, right?
Yeah.
We'll probably tackle each and every maze and attraction as we kind of go through it, right? Yeah.
So when it comes down to movies, we will be choosing one each and we'll be breaking it down. So we'll do that. But to continue on to the next topic, horror is very, very relatable and it has tons of messages that even through your first viewing of it, it can completely change from when you go and view it the second time. Unfortunately, it's looking more and more like we are in one of those movies now today.
Yeah, so there's kind of two things happening, especially like in the US specifically. One of them is actually both, I would say, is like very global, but two of them are really affecting what's happening in the US. So we chose a very specific movie, Night of the Living Dead. So that's going to be our first movie that we kind of tackle. The reasoning is because, one, there is a quarantine kind of happening within the US. It's kind of been fuzzled up because there's so much happening, so much political tension happening within our community. Because, to be honest, this Rona quarantine looks like a fucking zombie movie. Right? You look outside, you look at the news. It feels like we're living
scary,
in a zombie
man.
movie. We talk about it all the time. We're like, dude, what the hell is going on? And then on top of it, you know, there's this whole Black Lives Matter movement going on that both Angel and I really kind of think is important to kind of plug into our podcast. So instead of ads, you're going to be seeing a lot of us talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. And we don't really want to hear what you have to say about the other side. If you do feel that strongly, don't listen to this podcast. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, this episode is the end all be all for you, right?
Yeah.
But for those that are interested, we will be posting links, resources, what you can do to help from the Black Lives Matter movement and how you can bring justice to George Floyd, whatever way possible, through our Twitter page or Instagram page, which is going to be at Happy Haunts Podcast. Okay, so you can catch us on both social media sites. We'll be posting resources. We'll be posting ways you can help. And trust me, if you don't have money to donate, we'll have other ways that you can help, right? Through signing petitions, through sending emails, texts, whatever it might be, right? Because we strongly believe in this movement, and to the point that we picked a movie that tackles both the coronavirus and the racial injustice that's happening in this world, right? Both Angel and I, we are both Mexican males, and we're not going to really understand certain sides, but we're going to try to talk about it with as much sensitivity as we can.
And that's the beauty of horror. It allows us to break down these barriers. It gives us the metaphors and the means to open up this dialogue. So come with us on this journey. We are the Happy Haunts podcast. We hope to see you again. And like I said, if you do not believe in this positive moment that we're trying to spread, this podcast is not for you. That being said, we are here for you guys. We're here to spread the peace and the love in the horror community.
Yeah, man. Definitely much love to you guys that made it through that agree with this message. We love you guys, right? You're in this fight with us together, and we're here to kind of distract you from what's happening in the world, right? It's kind of like what we're doing. We're distracting each other by giving us something to do. And to end that, such a harsh note, we're going to see you next time with Night of the Living Dead.
Have a good night, guys. See you next week.